everybody, it's JEBeauty, also known as Jordan. I make makeup, hair, fashion, college-related, and comedy videos, and soon travel videos. If you want to subscribe, the button is down below. All you have to do is hit that bell when you do subscribe, because like I mentioned in my last video, YouTube changed its platform where when you subscribe to someone now, you have to click the bell icon in order to get notified when I upload something. That's the only way that you'll be notified, so make sure you go do that. If you do subscribe, which I hope you do, because it would make me really happy and it would make your subscription box happy. So today I am going to be filming part 2 of the Smashbox cover shot palettes review video. The lighting is just going to be a little bit weird because it's really cloudy outside. So without further ado, let's go. I'm first going to start off with the cover shot Golden Hour palette. Once again, I'm obsessed with this packaging. Literally could look at this all day. This is what it looks like inside. So you have the 2 longer base shadows and then the 6 eyeshadows. I usually go for the white or bone shade base colors, but instead I'm actually going to go for this shade, and that is the shade called Dope. Pretty cool name. It's one of my favorite words. For my base color, I'm going to be applying it with the brush by Sephora, and it's number 14. Actually really loving the Dope shade. I think it's really nice, and it does add a hint of color, which is great. I will be taking the shade Lights, which is the lightest of the 6 eyeshadows right here. And I will be applying that to my crease with the IT Cosmetics number 105 Airbrush Blending Crease Brush. Just like I mentioned in my last video, I like to keep a light hand at the end of the brush and just do fast movements. Windshield wipers up at the top of the crease area and circular motions towards the outer edge of the crease. Because if you forcefully do it, you're just not going to get the look that you want. And as you can already see, everything already looks well blended, but this brush is also amazing. So as you can see, it looks super blended in, which is what we want. And then to make it even more blended, I'm taking the Sephora number 10 Pro Crease brush, and this is what I use to blend all eyeshadows. That blended really well, by the way. My outer crease color, I think I am going to be taking the shade called Rock Stars, which is this plum purple shade. This Golden Hour eye palette, not including the base colors, but all the 6 eyeshadows are shimmery. To apply my outer corner color, I will be taking the Sephora number 18 brush, which is the Pro Shader brush. This brush is so good for doing the outer corner because it's so small and it can really pack on the product. Make sure to always tap off extra shadow so you do not have fallout. It's a little bit hard to see, so maybe I should grab my product. It is pretty light. I think if you build up more, it will start to look better. And I always like to kind of stick my brush in the outer crease area because I love a defined outer crease, and I just love it when my outer corner is really dark. It always makes my eye looks better. So that is pretty light, but it's honestly not that bad. I'm just gonna build a little bit more. I am also still keeping my hand at the end of the brush, putting slightly more pressure so I could really pack on this product because I'm having a little bit of trouble with it. And then taking the IT Cosmetics brush again, I'm just going to blend that in. Also, again, taking the Sephora number 10 brush and just kind of blending everything out. I think I actually meant to use the purple shade in my outer corner, but that's okay. We can use the more bronzy shade as a base for the purple and see how that works out. Oh my god, these blend so well. Wow. Since I meant to put the plum purple shade as my outer corner shade, hopefully the purple will be a little bit darker. So once again, taking the Sephora number 18 brush. Definitely darker than the last, but not as pigmented. Didn't build up as much as I intended it to. Honestly, I think that's as good as it's gonna get. We are gonna try to blend that. My thoughts while applying these eyeshadows, they're not as pigmented as I imagined because of that purple shade. I was expecting it to come out to the shade that it is in the palette, but it's coming out way lighter. I'm going to take this EcoTools flat shader brush, and I'm going to be taking that bronze shade again and applying that to my lid, but packing on so much color. I love bronze shades. They always look so good with my blue eyes. They always make them pop so much. This purple shade, which is Rock Stars, I would imagine that to be way more pigmented and darker, but it kind of came out the same as the shade called Stare, and that's what I applied to my lid. This shade called Lights, I applied that to my crease, and that was actually a really nice crease color. I applied Dope as my base, and I really like that. So there are some shades in the palette that I really like. There are some shades that I haven't even tried in the palette, which is why I'm going to swatch them. Since I'm not really finishing up this eye look, I'd say it's not that bad. It wasn't what I was expecting. I know a lot of people were raving about this one, the Golden Hour, but I just don't think it's as good as some other ones. I've only ever tried the matte palette and the soft light palette. The soft light palette I have loved already within like 5 seconds of using it. So I just swatched all of the shadows, starting with Dope and ending in Stare. These are what the shadows look like. They didn't swatch that bad. Purple, you can see, it's just, it didn't swatch that great. It started out great, but then end great. The shade called Turned On, which is the pinkier shade in the palette, I think that actually swatched better, and also the gold shade. Overall, these swatches are better than the past two palettes, even though, like I said, I love the soft light palette, but those shadows are also really light, so of course you're not going to swatch as well as these, where these are just slightly darker. I'm kind of 50-50 with it. We're moving on to the next Smashbox cover shot palette, which is the metallic eye palette. This one is also shimmery, and this time both base shadows are shimmery, so those are actually really pretty colors. So the color names are Inside Scoop and Straight Up, which are the two base colors, and then the 6 eyeshadows going from left to right are Let's Rage, Liquid Fire, Party Time, Booty Call, Rock Candy, and Middlework. Very interesting names. I reapplied the eyeshadow primer that I mentioned earlier by Too Faced, so I think I am going into the base color called Straight Up, this one. Going in with my IT Cosmetics number 105 brush. Going with the Sephora number 10 brush, just kind of really blending everything out. Now this may be a fail, but I'm going to try and do a halo effect with the blue color, which is called Metalwork. And then in the middle, I'm going to go in with Rock Candy. This blue color is Metalwork, and then this is Rock Candy. They're both really pretty colors. I usually don't do the halo effect. I'm going to try it out this time. Coming on, honestly, a little bit better than I had expected. Actually doesn't look half bad, but now we have to blend. Looking more like a grayish blue and not as blue as it looks inside the palette. Tried to keep the middle area as bare as I possibly could, but sometimes that doesn't happen. The EcoTools flat shader brush, I'm going to be taking Rock Candy and trying to apply that to the middle. If not, we'll take the gold shade that is called Let's Rage. Oh look. Not that much of a difference. Kind of what I expected though. You can see a little bit, but at the same time not that much. Okay, let's try that gold shade. Better, but now I need to fix the blue. know, I messed up a little bit, but that's okay. Now let's blend everything. Yep, I definitely messed up over here towards the inner corner, but we all make mistakes. Let's see if I can try and take that. That probably made it work, but that's okay. So maybe the halo effect wasn't the best. I tried. Probably as good as it's gonna get. I know it's not the best, but I was trying to do a different technique, and I know I need more practice with it. I just swatched everything. They are a lot better swatches, starting from the base colors left to right of the other 6 eyeshadows. This top shade right there, I had to swatch twice. Didn't really swatch well the first time. It looks like a bluish gray on my hand, but in the palette it is a little bit more blue. This copper shade actually came out really nice. That was a color that I did not try. The yellowish gold shade swatched not that badly. Maybe it's just me today. Maybe I'm just not having a good makeup day. I mean, I already messed up with this. Could be that. I don't know. Maybe it's actually the palette. And we're back. I really wanted the eye primer to set and fully dry, and also my eye was hurting because usually once you apply eyeshadow and then take it off and then do the same process over and over again, your eye will start hurting. Last palette that we will be doing is the Cover Shot Smoky Eye Palette. And for this eyeshadow palette it's very shimmery, and both base colors are matte, and you could even use this shade called Feature. You could even use that as a contour shade if you wanted to. I'm gonna go for this shade. It's called Instinct, and that would be the base color. Taking the Sephora number 14 brush again, applying it to my base. I think really the only eyeshadows that I do like in the palettes are the base colors, which is so weird. I do love base colors, but usually I have more hype about the actual eyeshadows that you use. For these palettes, not so much. I think I'm actually going to take that base color shade, the chocolate one called Feature, and I'm going to use that as my crease color because I think that's a really nice matte crease color. Let's say it really defined my crease. Taking the Sephora number 10 brush and just really blending that out. I will be going in with the Sephora number 18 brush in the green shade called SDFU. Funny, Smashbox. Hopefully this is pigmented. I'm taking that and we're going to apply it to the corner. Way more pigmented than I even imagined. Especially for green shades. I don't really use green shades a lot. And that looks really crazy, so we're going to blend it out with the IT Cosmetics number 105 brush. Seems like when I blend these shadows out, they're not as pigmented. Like, it's like the green kind of just like fades. It's still green, but it's not as green as it looks in the palette, which is weird. And you know what, there are always those kind of like bad palettes out there. Maybe I'm just not used to using green eyeshadows. Who knows? Blend it a little bit more. Taking the Sephora number 10 brush and try and blend everything out better. I did not mean for that to look like halo effect, but it just happened. Maybe it'll look better when I apply the lid color as well as mascara. Now with the EcoTools Flash Shader brush, I'm going to be taking the silvery shade called Rock Me. Actually, not that bad. Honestly, it doesn't really look that great. I'm gonna try this look on my other eye, put on some mascara and blush and fix up my face makeup. And I'm actually going to try out this powder from IT Cosmetics called the Bye Bye Pores Airbrush Powder. I've never used it, so this is also a first impression of that too. And then I'll swatch that palette and I'll be back. Thoughts on the Smoky palette? Probably my least favorite, honestly. The eyeshadow, I did it on both eyes. It's not that bad, but it's definitely not my favorite. I was really just trying to rush through my mascara and anything around the eye area, which which I never really do, so I guess that kind of says a lot. I was looking at it under different lighting in my room and my bedroom mirror. It didn't look that bad. I'm trying to give it a try. It's not my favorite. I took this powder brush. It's actually my mom's. It's the Ulta powder brush, and I'm also taking the IT Cosmetics by Pores translucent powder. I don't think I've ever used a translucent powder. This is cute. Comes with a little puff. Puffs. Everything. Already pretty nice coverage. I don't know if you notice the difference. I feel like this actually, for some reason, it looked like it lifted my eyes. I could definitely see a difference from this side and this side. Like this side, you can still see like a little bit of crease in like my under eye bags, and actually, I can't see my pores. Focus. Put the powder on this one, and then this is the other side. I can definitely see my pores. A little bit more on that one, but this one, ooh, I like this. Whoa, so cool. See, I usually don't use anything that's like, not including eyeshadow, but in powder form because it has just always broken me out. That's the case with a lot of drugstore products, aka why I don't use a bunch of drugstore products. IT Cosmetics is definitely not drugstore. It's more high-end, but I actually really like this. I'm not gonna put on blush, and I'm probably not going to put on setting spray because I have nowhere to go. This was just a day of filming. I think that some other people, it would have looked good. This is what it looks like up close. That's the other eye. I don't know if that's in focus. I realized that I just completely forgot to swatch the eyeshadows from the Smoky palette. These are what the shadows look like swatched on the hand. The green surprisingly swatched pretty well. The black shade didn't swatch that bad. Actually, when I swatched it, it came out with the blue and gold flecks of glitter, which came out really pretty. The burgundy shade, it actually swatched pretty well. Kind of wish I used that color now. These were the two base colors. So the two base colors are Feature, which is more the chocolatey base color. The other base color, which is the lighter one, is called Instinct. The shadow names from left to right are Headline, Hell Yeah, Rock Me, SCFU, Slayer, and Big Night. Swatching the black shade with my finger was a very rough texture. I did not really like the texture of that. My overall thoughts is that the Cover Shop palettes collection isn't that bad. Is it worth the hype? In my personal opinion, not so much. I think my favorite palette would be the Soft Light palette, which is weird because I usually go towards the darker shades. I don't really go towards lighter shades that much. Even though it wasn't a complete favorite, I'd say my second favorite was the Golden Hour eye palette, because every single palette there were shades that I didn't use. I tried to branch out from using gold shades because that's my go-to. The Plum Purple shade in one of the palettes wasn't even pigmented. It showed up, but it wasn't as purple as it was in the palette, and same with that blue color. Same with the green color. Once I blended in the green color, it just wasn't as vibrant as it was in the palette, even though it wasn't like a completely bold metallic shade. It just wasn't as vibrant when I blended it out. I don't know my least favorite palette. I don't do this on purpose to try and find the negatives in things, but I am giving you a harsh reality of products that are out there in the world, that there are some that just don't work. But that's my personal opinion, and this is my skin, so maybe it will work on someone else, but it doesn't for me. Positives is the top of the palette, because of the film, looks really cool, where it looks like an explosion. The base shades are all really nice. Most eyeshadows, they blend pretty well. They're all really pretty colors. Cons, some of them aren't as pigmented when you apply them and blend them out as they look in the actual palette. That's like probably a big thing that I had. It didn't come out as well as I thought it would. With Too Faced eyeshadows or Urban Decay Naked shadows, they always come out the way that it looks in the palette. For some reason, it just didn't happen with Smashbox. I'm not trying to completely hate on Smashbox. I love Smashbox. I love primer water because, you know, that's my holy grail. There are just always going to be products that don't work for everyone. That's the reality of it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it helped, and if it did, give it a big thumbs up. Wasn't trying to find negatives, but not every single makeup product is the best. I'm just trying to give you my personal feedback on it. I hope this helped in a way of your decision making for buying any of these palettes. Like I said, I only tried 5 out of the 7. I hope you have a great day, whether it's morning, afternoon, or night. I'll see you guys later. Bye!